Good evening, everybody. We are part of a project called Win-Win Lottery, and we will have a talk tonight about this project and about the idea of art and luck. So we welcome very much Dan Perjovschi, and we are still waiting for Farid Rakun to come. Hopefully he will arrive in the next minutes.
When they heard about win, they go.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should call him and I say, okay, let's talk about losing. Yeah, that's a good idea. Instead of win-win. Okay. I would like to first introduce this project. Hannes Egger and we rented a space at KulturBahnhof for the time of Documenta 15, and our idea was to do a lottery. So when you bought a lot for 20 euros, you could be part of this lottery, and once you won, you could win this space for 1 week. So we had 13 artists, male and female, more female than male, who won the space. And right now we have the last artist, Katharina Schnitzler, who is doing her show until next Thursday, and then we finish the project. As I already told, we would like to talk about art and luck tonight, and it's Hannes Egger, it's Judith Waldmann. She is a curator from Merano. She before was curating the Kunstverein in Kassel. Yes, yeah, that's right. Okay, and and I hope we will have a nice discussion about this, and sooner or later also with Farid. Do you first would like to say something about your work? You know, everybody knows Dan, for example. He's doing a lot of work here on the Documenta. You probably stumbled across the work in front of KulturBahnhof and step on. And what do you think about art and luck?
If you ask me, I got lucky. Sometimes we joke with my partner, with my wife, that so we got in our life a revolution, and we survive a full total eclipse of sun, and we survive an art system, and we survive. So we got lucky in a sense. Maybe the very common thing will be that you prepare your luck or you attract your luck, right? But there are moments where you are risking. So I think luck is coming with a risk, not just dropping into you, no? And by the way, I'm not connected with the win-win. I'm just drawing in front of them. Yeah. So, and we bump in each other several times, and I was invited to talk and I don't have the time. So it was a very interesting relation with the story. But I think something here in the landscape, it's a little bit more serious, and this is part of the entire game with big shows like this one. How you not flatten the hierarchies of big art, big superstar, no, but how you create possibilities for other artists or positions to step in the platform, no? So that's what you did. And when you have 1,500 artists in a show, you can forget about being known. So you already, the pressure is gone. So I think that the idea to be part of it is really interesting. And I think I don't know exactly how your project functions, but I think in my experience, I come from a working class family in one of the most poorest country in Europe, and I was educated in a very ultra conservative art system. So basically I had no chance. So I think every platform you get in your life as an artist, doesn't matter how modest, it's a chance to get lucky. You know, it's a possibility. And years ago, if you ask me, I was 20 years ago very more critical to artists who associate themselves to big events. No, I say what they are doing. They try to get into the attraction or the, no. No, I'm not. I'm very relaxed about it because everybody have to do what they have to do and create their own chances. So, no, the first one it was to apply to your lottery, right? No, to renounce like what, 4 beers? And then, no, you get a chance to be there and then you never know who's crossing and who's looking and what disconnect. And this is my life experience. Every step I did, it created another step. Sometimes pure accidental, sometimes it was constructed. So this is my statement about luck. You construct the possibility, but you still have to have some luck in your life. Yeah? But you have to do whatever you can in order to prepare.
Okay, yes, I agree. You have to take a chance. You could say it like this. Yeah. You have to take a chance, and if you don't, if you sit at home, the chance to be lucky will be less big. Yeah, that's for sure.
I found it very interesting that you said that you made your... I found it very interesting, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it okay? That you said that you made your luck even if you were born in a country where maybe the possibilities have not been the best for an artist to start. And I think that this project, the Win-Win Lottery, it's interesting to think about fairer possibilities to allocate space and attention to certain artists, but for me it was also a critical reflection about the Wheel of Fortune, which in real life is also a very unjust Wheel of Fortune, because if you really think about, let's say, the means why artists get successful or fail, you really have to start at the beginning, and this is where you are born, in which society you are born in, and which possibilities and chances the society is giving to you. And this is a very unfair Wheel of Fortune because you don't have anything under control about it. So you don't have a saying in where you are born, which possibilities you get, which financial situations are giving to you. So I think chance on the one hand can give space and visibility. On the other hand, chance is also very unfair. So I think this is also a very interesting thing to think about or speak about.
You know how our friend Trump said it can be rigged. Sorry.
It can be? I didn't understand it.
Rigged. Manipulate. I mean, sometimes it looks like luck, but it is constructed. But I think you're right, it's not fair. It's not fair. Well, it's not fair in agriculture, it's not fair in aviatics, it's not fair in like swimming, it's not fair. So how we equalize the chances?
Yeah.
That's what they did, they create a space. And I think maybe other people disagree with this. Maybe, wow, what are you doing? Forget Documenta, it is a space. That's okay.
So it's not a problem. Yeah, we wanted to create this space. Yeah, I think so. For me, we have both a different approach to the project. I think this is good and it's okay, and I think that's nice and working together. So everybody has his mind and his world in some way. For me, it was really to create this opportunity, but then I noticed that it's not really fair. Yeah, because we had people, they bought several lots. Yeah. And then it was also, the same one, yeah. We had different strange cases, yeah. So there was a person, she won 2 exhibitions, yeah. So So this was really, for us, this was really crazy because we never thought, no, we thought in the beginning, no, he thought about, and then I sat in the discussion, I said, no, Thomas, stop it. No, it's not probably, so it's surely not going to happen, so no problem. And it happened, yeah? And then we stood there and said, okay, what's going on now? And you know, finally she said, okay, now I have no time to make these shows. Then she selected 2 other friends, artist friends, and she gave the shows to them. So, and this, I think this has also to do with these possibilities, yeah, because you have to have 20 euros, yeah, to pay a lot, yeah, and then it's not the, I think this is the less problem. The bigger problem, it starts when you win, yeah, because then you are responsible in some way. You have to have time, you have to have a little bit of money to come here.
But you don't produce, you just give them the space, right?
Yeah, just the space.
So they have to produce the space.
Exactly, yeah. And so it's obvious, it's complicated, so it's not easy, and it's, for some it's an opportunity, and for some maybe also not, yeah. So it's not, and this was really interesting because at the beginning when someone buys a lot, these people says, okay, I want to win, yeah. In the moment when they are winning, yeah, we called them because we had the phone numbers and everybody was happy, yeah. But 2 days after, it started to get a problem, yeah, and they called, okay, oh, what can I do now? I don't have the time, I cannot manage it, so it's complicated. So to win, it's not, to have a chance, it's maybe not also so easy, so it's, I thought, yeah, so.
Yeah, that's, it's also interesting that we created all kinds of stories. For example, we had someone who is the head of a town in Ancona, in Italy, and he bought a lot, we don't know why, but he won. So he thought...
The mayor.
The mayor, yeah, the mayor. Yeah, so he was a politician, and he thought he could make some, advertising for here for on Documenta, and he...
Is this Documenta?
Yeah. So in the end, it was like that he went to the beach in Ancona, and he met 2 artists from Ancona at the beach in a bar, and he said, "Well, you are going to Kassel."
This is nice.
So it was, yeah.
Because they have the elections now, and I think if he gets the mayor, surely these 2 artists, they will have jobs there. So I think so. I don't know. Kidding.
But you should do like something with these stories. This is interesting. You don't imagine this kind of situation.
Yeah, there was another one that we had friends of us who wanted to support us, and they won. And it's a family, and then they decided to do a family show, and they've never exhibited before, so it was really... Yeah. But they had some fights with their daughter. They had a lot of fights with their daughter because of this. Yeah, it was really interesting. And of course, so we have all these kinds of stories developed, and in a way this fits very well to Documenta because it's all about stories. Yeah, on Documenta, and I think that's an interesting point. So, what else do we have?
I have another question. I think it was super interesting that Hannes said when people won, they actually were confronted with some kind of responsibility. And I think it's very important to speak about responsibility with the win-win lottery as well, because when you give all the power, and it's power to give space and visibility to a lottery number. And the thing is, you do not curate anymore. It can be that someone wins the space,
Almost like Documenta.
who maybe uses it as a propaganda space for the invasion of Ukraine, or I don't know, things you are not okay with, and I think it's very important to think about responsibility in that case, because what do you do then? What do you do then? And if it's only the lot, and you do not have another system of of, let's say, choosing people, it's also quite, let's say, dangerous in a certain way.
It gave total freedom? It was free, anything, or you have kind of a frame?
It was total free. We didn't interfere. Okay, we didn't come across such a problem like someone supporting Russia or something like that, and so it was not the point at this in this position. But I would, I would say once this would happen, of course, you are questioned in another way, but actually it wasn't the case. Yeah.
But we were afraid of it, so we discussed it before, so we were conscious about this problem, that's clear. And we discussed it, and at a certain point we said, okay, if we want to really create an open platform, we have to keep it open. And this is also a risk we are doing. So people are risking, we are risking, and we said, okay. So then fortunately nothing happened, and it was the same discussion we had about the quality, yeah, because so it's not only about the content, but also about the artistic quality. This was a big question, and I think we discussed for more or less 2 months how to deal with this, yeah, and how to stay behind these projects, how to support it, and how to keep it on life. So this was a big discussion we had, and then at a certain point we said, no, let's think this project like an experimental room, yeah, and let's see what's going to happen. And as you mentioned before, and these stories, also for me the stories were the most interesting point, yeah, this backstories finally, yeah. And also I really like this project on the, I call them on the border, so to work with the artists, the professional artists, the winners or the one, it was quite easy because they know what they do and they know what they get and they know how to deal and they know why they are doing it, yeah. But we had several other winners, it wasn't so sure for what they are doing it and how to deal with the space and so. And this was I think this were the most interesting project for me. Hi. You're welcome. That's good.
We should probably start one more time. Yeah. What do you think about? Everybody knows Farid.
I'm sorry I'm late. My name is Farid. I'm part of Ruangrupa, the one acting as the artistic direction for this edition of Documenta. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Sorry so much for being late.
Okay, we were talking about this combination. Okay, shall we be louder? More close to the mouth. Okay, yeah, okay. So we were talking about this combination between, or the question whether there is a connection between art and luck, and Dan already gave interesting aspects to that. So what do you think about art and luck? Do you think it's necessary, or do you think it for example, for your approach to this area here, what do you think about? Was it luck or what was it?
I think there are art and luck have, in my case, in our case in Ruangrupa, there are a lot of those two have a lot to do with each other. For example, we will never be around if it's not because of luck. We know that. Although we knew, like some of us knew each other more than 20 years right now, before even Documenta existed. But it's such an unexplainable chemistry that brings us together. But only, at least I can talk about Ruangrupa. So that's like a collective practice, and luck, I think there are there are they need actually to be in luck with each other. About, I think, related for being here, I think it's like there's a funny anecdote. Actually, like one member of the finding committee, before asking us, like, you know, not even being a candidate, but like can we think about you together as a possible name? I think they knew that it's going to be a tough job, but they couldn't tell it to us properly because they, you know, like because they don't know how to tell it. I think much more like that. Like it's almost like I'm really sorry I have to ask this question, you know. So yeah, I think luck is important. That's what I'm saying, at least in Ruangrupa.
I have one more question with that. Do you think there was a kind of a special point for Ruangrupa where it kind of switched to this that was especially lucky for you as a group? Was there a certain date where you met someone, or how did it, or do you think that was just something that developed continuously, or was there one point where you said, okay, there was a kind of a key point where it all got, we entered another level or something like that?
I think with another level, no, but like I can answer you with another anecdote. We don't really know our birthday, so we put it 1st of April because it's an April mob date. So it is an important one, like the 1st of April something, that became our birthday.
Yeah, I have, okay, do you want, okay. I have, I think another important question is luck a possible curator? Could you imagine that luck could be the curator of a Documenta?
I don't know actually right now. That's a tough question. But like if it's only like given to luck, for example, like given to chance and then
we propose, we do a proposal and we say the next Documenta is based on a lottery. What that's what I actually mean.
Bundeslack. But it's a great idea if you ask me. How you play chance with public money then it becomes a question, no? There are many other ways. If it's supported by lottery on the other hand, I think it's a big chance. I really cannot say for the institution, no, but like art supported by the lottery, there are a lot of examples already.
Of course, we would at least have a big problem with Facebook and Instagram because Instagram and Facebook don't like lotteries. That was something we experienced because our Instagram account was switched off. At some point it was just switched off. We don't know why, and we didn't get an explanation up to now. But so there must be a connection. So maybe it's not a good idea to actually use a lottery for.
Luck will support the luck, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I only wanted to add, even if all these words have the same translation somehow, but I think it's a huge difference to speak about luck or about chance. And you can have luck and have a lucky incident, or you can take your chance. I think one is very active and the other thing is very passive, and in order to take a chance you have to become active, and luck is coming over you somehow. And I think thinking about that the Documenta could be a lottery and artists are coming here only for luck. For me it is for me, it would be non-very positive imagination, because we already spoke about responsibility, about a selection process, and there would be no control mechanism what you show to the world, or what you want to. You also have an idea when you do something, or when you put energy in something, and if you give all the power to numbers in a lottery ball, I think a very crucial mistake would happen. I find it very interesting. I find the win-win lottery very interesting, because I think that there should be more diversity in giving visibility and allocate space. I think it should not only be the survival of the fittest thing, that you have to apply to funds and you have to be like super prepared and super, let's say, organized. I think there could also be some kind of green cards once in a while, that you can have a diverse way of funding artists. Or I don't know if you know what a chef is. It's okay, maybe this is going too far, but in Germany, in court, there is one person who is not a professional, and this person there is a lottery to find this person, and this person will be part of the process as well. And I think this is a very nice junction to the professional, let's say, court system. There is someone who is in there as well, and who also has a saying in it, but it's only, let's say, one platform more, and it's not the main platform. And I think this is very important.
Do you mean who curates the curator?
I think you can really critique curatorship or how curators are working. There is a lot of ways to think that this can be renewed, but I think it shouldn't be luck. It shouldn't be chance only, or it's like chance and luck, as I said, are different words from my point of view, but we shouldn't give it to luck.
Okay, I would like to make a comment on this, because one of my ideas about the lottery was also that I did a show last year that was called "Do the Winners Take It All?" So you have this kind of a winner world where through social media and other processes, it's more or less like that once you are on a certain level, it's very easy to get higher and higher, whereas others who are not, who somehow didn't reach this level, they are not able to do the same procedure. So we thought, if we give, or at least I thought, if I give the chance to people by luck, and maybe there's one or two who are really, who really get a push, and maybe get another start in a way. So I mean, that's one point I'm really interested about, that we have this kind of winner structure nowadays by social media and everything, where which is something which I also actually see here on Documenta. I mean, here are a lot of artists, or you have Off Biennale Budapest, which tries to put up artists who are not as well known and so on. So you have a lot of this energy here, where new people who are not on the lists all of a sudden are part of the of a kind of a big thing like the Documenta. So maybe what do you think about are these approaches that now happened? Do you still think that the Documenta is like something like a big place where you get a lot of attraction? Is it still the same? Do you think so?
I think like at least for some part of the world, you know, so we were using it. One thing that maybe I can share again, it's like there are different ways of using it, let's say. Instar is one. I think like Tanya was saying about it. I think in the press even, like it's really difficult. Like sometimes artists in Cuba, the one that are working with are also part of Instar. They got called as not artists in Cuba itself. And then by being in Documenta already, like, you know, I'm part of Documenta, it's so much harder to say that, no? So I think like Dan will have his own answer how he have used it or abused it even. Like his drawings, but one more thing maybe that I can share is like the one that I like about the story of your initiative is actually when someone put it by, like, you know, but didn't really think why he or she put it there, and then won, and then suddenly, like, you know, I don't know what to do. Okay, I'll just give it or open it up to others, you know, so not to basically like pushing, extending what's being given to you to another and all those kind of, I think like that's that can be a beautiful scheme, at least. I don't know what it can be, but when I read about it, I think it's great.
Well, I have like more than 1,000 exhibitions, but when I get invited, I hit the jackpot, right? So I was super happy to be here. But I have to tell you that I feel also lucky every time I'm invited to a show, because this is my life. No, so yeah. But I want to tell you something from my perspective for your project. I like it because it's called win-win. It's not called win. It's win-win. And I'm coming from a country who have no idea how to win-win. And we're like, most of the cases we all lose. We don't know how to do stuff. So I like this term, because there are, even if you don't imagine, there are situations where you can find this win-win. Yeah? And I also want to tell you, well, sometimes when you are selecting and you step in the light, so you won, well, that's not a comfortable situation sometimes, because it's more comfortable to stay in the half shadow. You feel more free to operate even as an intellectual or an artist, and the minute you are out there, you can be like in nowadays, like you, abused or harassed, or, you know, yeah, and somebody hates you just because you are there, you know. For my surprise, I found out that some artists in Ukraine didn't like that I draw about Ukraine here. So it never crossed my mind that somebody have a problem, whatever. So you win, but you also become a subject of, you know, something. And back to the abuse and use a document, of course I use it. Of course. Although in my country it doesn't mean so much. They don't care, so they care about Venice Biennale, you know, like more, you know, more market, more, you know. But I use it, and I use it in also for, well, even try to press people from there to come and see it and experience it, because it's not like the usual, well, in general, it's not like the usual show you are used to it. It's more complex, political, a lot of, you know, troubles, you know. So yeah, I use it a lot, and I will keep using it afterwards a lot. I'm like, we scheduled like a show with the printed matter from Documenta back home at the Goethe Institute, let's see, in Bucharest, and with my group. Because they put me in a group and I have to collaborate now. So I'm like in a collective with a million other people. Yeah, so, and we do stuff now, and I try to do it depending, because the situation here, you see, is changing, and whatever we planned before, well, we'll see. But I also, for me, here in Documenta, I love this printed matter, you know, crazy situation, all this poster and all these things popping up, and I think this is like a platform, so I want to use it. Yeah.
By the way, how did you select him? Actually, did he, as part of a group? He kind of how did it happen?
They asked me, they asked me to do a book about the sponsor, the main sponsor. That was the beginning. Because they say, we don't want to show these logos, maybe you can draw them. Say, yeah, I can. And then they fight with the partners, and they knew until the last moment who is in, who is out, so it becomes something else. But this is how the conversation started, with an idea of something who just developed in something else. And I think a lot of this Documenta, it's a bit like that, because it grew in various directions. Every time I come here, is something different popping up, or works got changed. So it's very movable. So that's the same. Yeah. And they like humor, right?
That is something I like too, and that's I think that's sometimes something we really have to emphasize one more time. What I also like about our our project is that it was always great if you told someone you are a winner. You know, that's a really crucial moment, because a lot of people say, I've never won anything in my whole life, and that's really great that I'm now winning something. You know, not knowing that it's. Oh wait, they knew, but maybe there is this projection about Documenta at the same time, because still Documenta is a fantasy of, I would say, every artist worldwide. You know, being part of the Documenta is something like a dream. It's so, and I think that also functions.
No, because like there's a possibility of course being a dream, but then you, like what Dan said, then you woke up because of that reality, you know, because there will be other stories about it afterwards, after being chosen, let's say, or it's kind of tough to call it chosen, like, but Dan we knew, for example, for a while already. He's been there for Jakarta, just one example, no? We're right, some biennials together, and then we're fanboys, basically, you know? Like we want, like talking about using Documenta, we use it to learn and to extend or sustain some friendships more. So that's the way we do it. But then yes, it comes also, of course, with a price, not only to us, but also the artist, but also everyone. And then, different cases have different challenges. Let's put it that way, for us.
I think this is right, the Documenta, where your project can be part of it somehow. Because others are more strict curatorial, or more strict in the quality, what you mentioned, no? So this was like maybe one of the few projects who can incorporate, you know, sucked in, you know, like you have a piece now with this workshop on t-shirts, which is amazing. Not usually to do that in a biennale, which, you know, so I think it's also a question not about the chance. You have to take the chance when you can, because otherwise maybe the next Documenta, you know, Madame Roth will curate, or you don't know.
Yeah, who will create the next Documenta?
We were really about conscious about this context. So we wrote a lot about Ruangrupa at the beginning, and then we said, okay, let's see what came in mind. So we wanted us to get somewhere in a dialogue with the Documenta. So I think in another context it made no sense. So. Or made in another sense. So it's a complete other project in another context. So the context is changed really a lot, I think. So, and we were conscious about your praxis. So that's clear.
Now we talked about chance, we talked about luck, and there's also the word fortune, which is somehow connected with your win-win lottery. And when you think about fortune and you think about Fortuna, the Greek goddess, the Roman called her Fortuna, she's often represented blind. and it says that Fortuna is blind and doesn't judge like the outward situation. And I think that this is a big utopia, that fortune can never be blind, because even in your win-win lottery, you have a lot of like systems you have to fit in. It's like you have to be, as you said, able to pay the 20 euros. You have to have at least a concept or something. You have to have time, the money to come here and stuff. And this is something very important, I think, to think about when you think about luck, about chance, and about fortune. So I think it's impossible to have a blind fortuna.
Okay, yeah.
May I add something? Yeah, because I talked with a sociologist about this project, and he is really in this winning. And then he told me, I told him about our experience. At the beginning, people say, okay, great, it's wonderful, and then the problems are starting. And he said, this is really normal. Think about if you win a Ferrari, yeah, you are really happy. Yeah, it's great to have a Ferrari, yeah. But when you have to change first time the wheels, you have to pay 8,000 euros, and you have a big problem. So winning is, yeah. So that's what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next time the tickets to Documenta is the lottery ticket.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Just sold like 1 million tickets now. Maybe
already, yes? Was it? You don't know? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because it was getting more crowded last weeks. But I mean, this is a good question. I would like to ask you one more time. What do you think who will be the next head of the Documenta? What do you think? Will it be a man? Will it be a woman? Will it be a group? One more time. What do you think?
It's really hard to say right now. First, of course, hopefully, who's willing? Maybe that's a question, no? After this, who's willing to do so, knowing the risk as well, and knowing the luck as well. So both positive, negative, and everything in between. And then, of course, after all this, there can be both extremes at least, and of course everything in between is doable as well. Extremes even, I think, learning from the Documenta 14, it's actually like we can be still surprised, no, by what it can be after having like tough challenges as an institution. So it can be going even further to, like, you know, to our envelopes, pushing our envelopes even more, the envelopes that we are pushing. On the other extreme, of course, like going really directly going back to how business as usual before. So, like, you know, but it can be also, I don't know right now whether it's possible or not, winning both sides. I don't know, winning those two extremes or being in the middle, all those maybe, but I think like Dan might have a very interesting answer as well to that.
So pressure on me, right? Well, I visit all Documenta since 1992. And for me, it's like even metaphorically interesting because I drawn the knee in front of one of the symbol of the first Documenta I visit. And by the way, I like very much that in this Documenta, the central square, which usually it's a majestic installation, like something over, now it's like a fucking tent. And it's looking like a desert, like a war zone. So it's like a totally different kind of approach. Even the advertising in the city, some Documenta are overfloating with banners and, you know. And now I see the poster of this Documenta in shops, regular shop, or, you know. So I think we can be amazed in a good sense, because after the scandal of the Fortuna Greek Documenta, the 14, which was half-half, right? And it was a big discussion. You expect to have one which is more conservative, no? And it is even in the other way, so you don't know. It might be maybe a more classic, standard Western art kind of show. It may be something which we don't think about, whatever. But I think I think this moment here you can see it. Although I know they are tired, they are angry, they are It was really complicated, especially the last time. But I think they crack something, or this Documenta crack, and the discussion is there. And it was just camouflated. I think it started a long time ago, but now it just came out. How the structure of the institution function, how this relation function, and they are in debate, or even though some parts of this debate was behind closed doors or something, but it's happening. So you can expect maybe a more control over curator, maybe not, I'm not sure, but it's an open discussion, and I have to stress this now, because I think probably this is the only country on the planet who can put 42 million euro on an exhibition and invite like a group of artists from Jakarta to do it, right? So in a certain sense, because I understand there was a wish to crush this Documenta because it's too powerful, it's too strong, give you like who's who, why, and I still think it's worth fighting to keep this platform for the next extraordinary ideas who will come, or for the debate to go. But the price they pay, and a lot of artists in these Documentas are paying the price for the discussion. And I hope to be more optimistic in the win-win situation, and it might be a win-win, and maybe not. Let's see. See you in 5 years.
So you think you're one?
The next one will be corrected by Ruangrupa.
That would be, yeah. That one more time. Second chance, yeah. So you are sure that your comment on the Bahnhof, where you said, "I'm so lucky to be on the last Documenta," that this is not.
It was 2 moments when they wanted to close, and it was another moment when some of that is had it, and they said, "That's it, we go." So there were 2 moments which could be the last one. I just played the words that I'm the last. They usually, what Documenta is the last one? They say, no. The next 5 years, you all talk like I saw the last one, until the next one. But there were some very tough moments, and I have to admit, sometimes I disagree with my colleagues, artists, and sometimes I was having other ideas, but the solidarity among was strong. So even though I think that every minute this Documenta is open, it's a win, I told you. If the group will decide to go, I will go. Yeah, that was the debate, And it was not easy. Imagine, it's not like this, So in spite of the legal part where you sign a contract and you are liable, in spite of that, the decision to pull out is complicated. And even the discussion is not easy. So there was this moment when all this media was asking the Documenta to shut down. And I have to, for me it's very important because I'm a journalist and I love the German newspapers. I love the feuilleton, I love the space they give to art in general, and that's not happening in my country. And now to see these German newspapers with this quality, like constantly failing, that's, it's like a major shock, but well. And I'm telling you, I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist of the printed media. I love it. So it was a shock for me too. So, and you know, I draw in front of the train station. I see people coming and going. And sometimes they come to me and say, where's the scandal? What? Go there and drink a beer in the VH1. Go in the garden, drink a beer. So, I mean, it's like unbelievable. You know, it's like a planet million light years far, the media, and then you come here and it's something else. So how this is possible? What's happening? You know? Yeah. So, yeah.
But anyway, I think a very important discussion is starting now, and this discussion also has to happen. So, yeah, but I think it's also there's also space to do critique or to put things forward, and I think, yeah, and there was a very weak point which was hit in this Documenta, and I think this is also the interesting point to open like discussion fields now. But yeah, they have to be filled, and I think there will be a big aftermath of Documenta, and a lot of people will think about it further, and this is the fruitful point of this Documenta as well, that maybe perspectives will be shared a bit more, and or we feel the need that it really has to happen.
I regret so much this. They don't, you know, you don't read about this project, you don't read about that project, you don't read about that project. There are a lot of stuff going on, and each of these create an interesting discussion or debate or whatever. So, yeah.
I would like to ask a question. I would like to ask a question because what I've seen on a lot of documentas is that it has a lot to do with the art market. So we talk about financing. And this is something which really crushed this Documenta because you're not going there. You're not working with galleries, you're not doing this and this and this and this. Yeah, okay. 5, lucky you. Okay, sorry, then I misunderstood. But anyway, because this was one of my thoughts straight away, because it started already in January this year, and it was gradually growing, getting bigger and heavier and more, I don't know what to say. And I still feel that there is a vulnerability in the market, that they cannot get hold of this, what you did here. And this is something really very scary for them, because they also see a certain kind of power which is around, apparently globally. What to do with it? And this is great. I mean, it's a beautiful energy. So thank you very much for this Documenta. And I feel very sorry that you had to go through all this, but I can tell you I suffered with you. So
sorry as well to bring that suffering.
Yeah, it's okay.
One of the few artists who have a gallery, me, invited by them, I have nothing to sell.
Yeah, but I mean, this tackles, I mean, really big issues. It's not only about art. It's much bigger than art, because it really goes into how we live and how we share things on this planet. So maybe you want to say something to this, maybe you don't, I don't know.
Maybe, thank you very much for that. And yes, apologies as well for those who are suffering with us together or against as well, because it's not the intention from our side. But about the market, for example, and all those kind of stuff, then we never thought about it. But what Dan said, like, you know, one of the few that has gallery, for example, but then actually all, at least, well, you can sell the books still, but like there's no products. Like you cannot, or at least maybe some gallery want to cut that the columns, replace it and make it something else, no, like Banksy thing. But we are actually like like yes, precarity in that sense. That's why we want to learn from these practices, because they don't survive, but somehow they survive. They don't survive from the logic of let's say galleries. You know, this is very shortcut though, like, because there are a lot of galleries that actually are doing interesting things as well. We find out, but but we are making a certain economy, no? Like there is another economy. Now the next question will be for us that we're still trying or attempting to find the answers for is like, you know, what kind of economy that can be nourished with this, like with this type of practices, when we cannot sell objects, when we are not interested maybe, but like when we are working with many others, so we cannot just put one pot in, like, you know, Dan is working with a lot of others, so if Dan is getting fortune, let's say, then others around him will get that fortune. But how to think about it that it happens, you know, not only as it is, well, at least for me, no, like when I get ahead, then how to make other people go ahead with me. So it becomes slower, of course, in that case. But yeah, we have to take that time, and then hopefully we can figure out, and we're already experimenting with, but figuring out ways to make other world reality without really attacking the other, no? Like what you said before, I think like the problem is like they got threatened, or like we're so small in that sense, you know, like they got threatened, and then they cannot let the other exist. That's the problem, is not their existence, but that they cannot let the other exist. That's, I think, because it's competitive, maybe because of, I don't know, but it's their logic. I think that's where hegemony becomes problematic. Sorry for being.
I think maybe they didn't have the intention from the beginning, but they had very clear plans. So it's the first time of my knowledge that the artists get a fee. It's not named fee, it's called seeds money. That means they give you the fee, but with the responsibility to grow something out of it. One. Second, the first time they didn't ask the gallery to produce the work. Because sometimes you have a biennial and can make the list of the gallery, not the artist, right? So it was very clear from the beginning, no? Clear. But there are galleries and galleries. It can be a win-win situation. I'm not against the art market. Me personally. I'm an artist, I produce this, I sell this, and I live. And I will take as much as possible. But there is a certain level where you have to worry, you know? So I didn't reach that level yet. But in my country, private galleries sometimes are more progressive than the National Museum. So we work with them. No, not with. But I want to tell you the good part of it. There was no VIP party at the opening. It was like a crazy karaoke in the middle of. Secondary, the Basel people didn't show up. No, so we have restaurants, you have places in restaurants, it was a nice atmosphere. So it was, I think, the first time where this division was clearly stated. We don't go there because there's no art, right? I completely disagree with these guys. And then because I also tried to find, somebody told me like maybe an explanation why the local media was so angry. Because they published the list of the artists in the Asphalt magazine and they didn't do a fancy press often. So in my, I don't know, you know. So, you know, there's a project called the gallery, Lumbung Gallery here, right? So you can go and try to buy art from this Documenta at the surface, on view, clear, not under the table, no? And we had like 6 months of discussion about this project, like a million Zooms, because they want to establish the price of an art object in a different way than the market established, which was a fantastic discussion. Maybe the reality is a bit more mixed, but the discussion was, so how we put a price on something? And some of the ideas I think worth research. So this is one, this gallery is there, you can go and buy my work. Specially made for the Lumbung Gallery, and the idea of this money will finance more projects after Documenta, because this is what a lot of this Documenta is about after. And then there's another thing, it's called kiosks. So people are selling merchandise, because this is the way to survive and to make a money somewhere. And I think it's also the first time somebody's attempting something like that at this scale, no? Here, or at least, no? So, you know, if you asked me 20 years ago, I was like, oh, yeah, merchandise, no, you know. But I learned, it's also part of the learning process in here. Like you learn other people's practices and how to do things and why, and you know. And also this idea to save something for the later and not spend everything now. Yeah? So I think, you know, about the market, 2 of my galleries show up at the opening, but they are involved in their way in the local or other projects. One from Paris is even in a part of a foundation who put the money in Documenta in one of the, I draw the logo. So it's a more complex situation sometimes. So we can partner with these institutions sometimes if they don't become so powerful to dictate. You know, if there are partnerships, why not? You know. And the future, I don't know. I think once I remember it was Lyon Biennale. And it was me and 2 other people from the same gallery in New York invited to that. And the Biennale asked directly the gallery to produce. And I said, don't give them any money because I need just a box of chalk.
Okay. I have one more question, or let's say idea, because I realized walking all over the venues as I'm a Sobat, one day I realized that this Documenta is a banner Documenta. So maybe the form, or the main form you meet everywhere is banner actually, yeah. So maybe this is a new part of the market. We get a special banner market in the future. And what I found interesting is, did you realize that there are all these banners, or is it just by chance that it developed? Because the banner is something very special, you know. It has 2 sides. You can use it in the space to separate the space, and well, all these kind of things. So was this something you realized in the beginning, or is it just happened by chance that it developed this way, or is it somehow connected to this idea of art that the banner is something like a flag, or it also has to do with the mind maps and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's a consequence. We're like works even, no? Like foundation class, serigrafistas queer. What they made are banners, no? Like and then of course dance work when it want to be printed big, and in front of Fridericianum, yes, we were thinking about it. Like put it basically like for banners, just banners. We didn't want to change the logo, the typography, Museum Fridericianum, but just close it with banners. So it looks much more. Well, it is cheaper. One, it looks cheaper. Two, and it looks also temporary. No, so it's like but then it becomes a plethora of banners. Taring padi, of course, banners. Like, you know, it is kind of like, I think, consequential because it's a language that a lot of the practices has as well from their past, from all our past works, let's say. So, but we didn't realize it fully. Like to say that it's like, you know, we realized that this is a Documenta with many statements, that's for sure. Like, I think we can make a book actually out of it, like draft of statements, even like this version, the angry version, the polite version, the out version, you know, like all those kind of stuff. I think that also can be, that's what we realized, what it has become. But Banners, thank you very much for noticing it.
Okay, does anyone else have questions to all this? So then we would start to end. Do you want any more questions about what we were talking about?
Maybe a super short comment. I was also amazed about a lot of things I saw, and overall a lot of practices are very fertile. And I only wanted to add that I think it's nice that you said we want to learn, and every perspective want to learn. And I think this is the important outcome of this, that we should be open to learn and listen and see and become somehow or engaging, having a conversation. And I think this will be one of the big outcomes of this Documenta, that we learn from each other and speak with each other, and also accept doing mistakes, or it's like it's something the society has to live with, that not everything is always, and there are so many perspectives clashing at each other, and of course this is not going without misunderstandings, or not even misunderstandings, without like real problems. and so yeah.
I would like to do one more comment, and I would really like to emphasize that I felt that in comparison with a lot of other meetings I had, that there was always an easy approach to you, and that was something, and also to a lot of other artists, so there was a lot of possibility to get in touch, to talk, and it was not like this usual hierarchy I experience in many other cases. And that's something I really enjoyed during all the Documenta, that there is this possibility also that you are sitting here now with us. We are very small. You are, in a way, we are a small initiative, and you are part of a very big initiative, but still you are here, and we are really very thankful that you came here also, Dan. And we brought a little present from South Tyrol to say thank you for this special event here. And can you just give it to them? We thought about what can we bring. I mean, wine is maybe difficult, so we thought about cheese and this special bread. So probably if we make some advertising in South Tyrol, we probably get a bit more money for our project because. Okay, so we thank you very much for your attention, and we hope you had some new insights to Documenta, and I think it was worthwhile, or it's still worthwhile coming here. I think there's a lot to find and a lot to think, and I really would in win-win, and also and also on Documenta, and I hope that there will be more than 1 million visitors. I guess I'm quite sure about it.
Today it was like a 3 light, it looks like the Queen morning.
Okay, so we end up with this situation, and thank you very much one more time for visiting.